Greetings, greetings, greetings. Osio, Mabrikwa, Sakpase, Wagwan, Holito, Shalom. Brothers and sisters, hey, you already know, man, this is Chief Kalanago once again. Just to drop some information. But first, I want to give thanks to the Great Spirit, Mother God, for another continuation of life, or just the continuation of life, period. Want to give thanks to my ancestors, want to give thanks to my spiritual parents, which essentially it's all the same, right? But anyway, so as above, so is below. You already know how it is. But I was having this live build on Facebook earlier, and for some reason, it was the feed was getting interfered with, in terms of the reception. So I just wanted to drop that. And trust me, I was enjoying the live, enjoying the build, the back and forth with brothers and sisters. And even if it may have seemed like a debate, just to let y'all know, I don't debate. So it wasn't that. It was just a healthy, argument. And there's nothing wrong with an argument, right? If you go look at the etymology of argument, all it means is to discuss things to find a resolve, right? And if you look at debate, debate means to beat up. So I don't beat my brothers and sisters. However, we are having just a healthy dialogue. But with that being said, I think it might work out better, this way without, the back and forth, because I really want to make my point clear as to my standpoint and why I speak the way that I speak and say the things that I say. So with that being said, I'm going to ask a few questions. All right. And I know my brother Raja, we go back and forth sometimes, but I know it's all healthy, brother. So I know there's no beef. So don't think that we have any problems. We ain't got no problems. All right, bro. Just to let you know. But with that being said, I'm going to ask a few questions. And for me, those are questions that I want our people to think about. Think about, because anytime we start allowing ourselves to just pretty much live our life by the ideologies of men, then we put ourselves under the mercy of men. And the only way to liberate yourself and free yourself is to walk away from all the dogmas. All right. Now, for me, I tell people I'm a deity, right? I'm a God. You feel me? And people may say, oh, well, man, it's blasphemous, or he's cocky. No, that's not what it means. All it means is that I know who I am. People tend to think that we are the flesh. You see me as the flesh. That's not who I am. The flesh is just the host. All right. It's the I am in me, that energy that's in me. That's what moves the body. So this is who I am. The true I am is within me, just like my car. The car is not going to move by itself, but first, the body, me, I got to get into the car and move the car, right? But when you see the car, are you going to say the car is Chief Kalanago? No, the car is not me. The car is just the body. It's just a host that transports the physical body. So the physical body is the same thing. I'm not the physical body. So when you see the physical body and you say it's me, no, it's not me. That is just my host. The question is, do you know me? Do you know that I am in me? Have you gone within yourself to vibrate on a high enough frequency to see me face to face and see me eye to eye? So a lot of people get mixed up in their emotions because they are still vibrating on this low frequency. And I'm not directing that to anybody in particular. I'm just saying in general. So the conversations that I have, I tend to have those conversations from a higher mindset or a higher state of thinking. And that is the message that I am putting forth in this little video right here. So first, I have a couple of questions. All right. For all my brothers and sisters who just can't seem to see the point that I'm making. My number one question is this. How old is the earth? That's the number one question. How old is the earth? And based on your answer, do you know that to be a fact, or is it because of what we were told? If you were to ask me the same question, I would be honest and tell you, well, hey, it's based on what I was told or read or studied. However, I looked into nature and I see that nature is ongoing. It's a 360. There's no beginning and no end. So from that perspective, me personally, I would say that the earth doesn't have an age. However, I'm asking you, How old is Mother Earth? That's number one. The next question is, how long has man and woman been on the face of this earth? How long has man and woman been on the face of the earth? Now, if you were to ask me that question, I would say that man and woman has been on this earth from time immemorial, meaning that from the moment earth was created, if it was created, all right, then man and woman has been here. That's how long man and woman has been on the face of this earth. Now, some of you may have a different opinion, a different perspective, and that's fine. That is your thing. That is just my own concept, all right, or my own perception based on what I see and how I feel, all right? So I believe, well, not believe, in my own knowing, what resonates with me is that man and woman has been on the face of this earth from inception of the manifestation of man and woman. So that could have been billions of years or millions of years. Okay? But again, I'm asking you. The next question is, did we speak the same language from the moment we came here on earth? Did we all speak the same language? That is my next question. Did we all speak the same language? If you were to ask me that question, I would say no, because today we don't speak the same language. All right. So I would say no. I think personally that from the moment we were able to articulate ourselves verbally, we spoke different languages. Okay. Now, maybe there was some time in antiquity, all right, or West antiquity, yes, that we spoke a common language, which was telepathy, because we were not able to articulate ourselves verbally. So we spoke through the mind. Now, that is just a theory. I cannot prove that as of yet. But I could stand on the basis of sometimes when I think something and somebody's next to me, they're thinking the same thing. Or if I call somebody or somebody call me, I say, hey, you know what, man, I was just picking up my phone to call you. So there was a simultaneous thought. So I think when we were in a higher state of being, I think that is an art or an attribute that we were able to manifest. All right. So those are the questions that I'm asking, because you see, we tend to get, you see, the divide and conquer is real. And we tend to get caught up in the division because we say, well, the Americas wasn't called this, the Americas was called that, or we are this and we are not that. And that's where all the debate and the confusion comes in, because we want to call ourselves too many different things. So for me, I want to put clarification on my standpoint, and so that you are able to see things from a different perspective. Now, when God, and again, I'm using that word God very lightly, right? When God, the universal creator, right? When the universal creator created man and woman in their own likeness and image, they created man and woman. Isn't that right or wrong? So therefore, there should be no authority over man and woman except the authority of their creator. Is that right or wrong? You see, what people are missing is this. When we put ourselves in boxes, we put ourselves under the jurisdiction of man, because man created religion and governments to control people. That is a fact. All right. So whether we think the world is one landmass or not, which I think it still is just some of the body of the land is separated by water, but it's still one landmass because the water is actually in the land and on the land, right? Now, here's a few more questions, right? Earth was created, correct? So what is the oldest name for Earth? Isn't the oldest name for Earth is Earth? So why don't we call ourselves Earthlings? Why do we have to put ourselves in a box? That is my question. Because to me, anything outside of that is a form of colonization. It's a form of forced assimilation, because man have created all these different sects of religion and different forms of government to control the masses. And they tell you who you are. So what did they do? They proportioned the earth, all right, put imaginary lines and start telling people who they are. Is that right or wrong? You see, I'm asking logical questions. So let us go back, because me and my brother Raja, every time I get on a build, you know, he brings up the debate or the argument that the oldest name of the Americas is Mu. So therefore he's a Moor. Now, brother, if that's what you are, and most of you Moors claim that's what you are, that's fine. That is your own perspective. But you should not tell every one of us that we are Moors, because we all don't subscribe to that. And based on the studies and histories, Moors are not from the Americas. There is nowhere in any prehistoric material, books, okay, archaeological search or research that Moors are from the Americas. All of them point to Moors being from Africa or the other side of the world, Asiatics. Why is that? So you telling me that all these books, all this literature, all of that is a lie? Okay, you know what? So be it, it's a lie. My question is, why do you put yourself in a box? Because the basis of what I'm doing right now is not to debate whether we are Moors or not, or whether we are Israelites or not, or whether we are American Aboriginals or not. The point is, why do we allow man that has created institutions to put us in a box? That is my question. So if Earth is the oldest name for Earth, why don't we call ourselves Earthlings? Why do we have to say, oh, well, we are Murs, M-U-U-R, because that's the oldest name for the Americas? Now, that's another question that I'm going to ask. How can you conclusively say that without a doubt? How could you emphatically say that that is the oldest name, the oldest known name of America? Then I would have to ask you this question. Did everybody in the Americas speak the same language? Did everybody in the Americas speak the same language? No, they didn't. So how could they come together and say, well, you know what? We are going to call the American continent Mu. You see, that's a fabrication. It's somebody telling that story. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say that everyone in the Americas spoke the same language. Now you would have to prove to me that everybody came together and there was a general consensus and say, let us call the Americas Mu. How can you prove that to me? So my brothers and sisters, everything that we are being taught, okay, it is because it's a form of indoctrination. It's an ideology of a system or a government or an empire or whatever you want to call it that was imposed on the rest of the people. Because to my knowledge, everybody spoke different languages and everybody was in different parts of this land. And they identified by their families and the landmark that they are in. So how do we generalize and say, well, that is who we are? No, that's who you choose to be. Then you ask the question, well, which one came first? Is it Mu or is it American Aboriginal? To me, that's irrelevant. The point is, I have a choice to choose to be what I want to identify my physical body as. Now, if you choose to identify your physical body as a Moor or Mu or whatever you want to call it, that's your prerogative. But for those of us who don't subscribe to that, don't force us to accept that narrative that we are all Moors or Mu or Mer. We all don't subscribe to that. And I'm going to ask you some more questions. All right. What was the first form of slave trade in the Americas? Who did the first slave trade in the Americas, and who were the first to be enslaved in the Americas through what you call a slave trade? You have to answer those questions. What was the first slave trade in the Americas? And secondly, who were these people that were traded as slaves in the Americas, the very first? And we all know it's not the Caucasians, and we all know it's not the Africans. So I'm asking you, who was the first? The next question is, who enslaved those people? Who enslaved those people? All right. Here's another question, right? Before there was Mu, before there was Lemuria, before there was Pangaea, before there was all this man-made names, what did the people in the Americas call themselves? Those are all logical questions. All logical questions. Here's another question, okay? Who brought the Caucasian man into the Americas? Who brought the Caucasian man into the Americas? Here's another question. Who formed the 13 colonies? Who formed the 13 colonies? Because it wasn't the Caucasian man. It wasn't the Caucasian man. You see, y'all giving the Caucasian man too much credit and you're blaming him too much. It's always the extreme when it comes to so-called white people. It's either you're giving them too much credit or you are blaming them for everything. Because people can't see past the illusion that's being taught. So this is the question. Who created the 13 colonies? All right. Who created commerce in the Americas? Who brought commerce to the Americas? Because my ancestors did not do commerce, or what we call commerce. Okay. My ancestors bartered and trade. They shared with each other. If I didn't have, I gave you. If you didn't have, if I didn't have, you gave me. If you didn't have, I gave you. That's what we did. So who brought a form of commerce, this form of commerce, into the Americas? And secondly, who brought the form of money, created the idea of money into the Americas? And don't tell me it's the Caucasian man. Once again, you're giving him too much credit. It is not, and it wasn't the Caucasian man. So those are logical questions that you have to ask. And when people start asking those questions and thinking for themselves, that's when they'll be able to take themselves out of the box. You see, the physical man, Chief Kalinago, identify as an American Aboriginal, but I am not an American Aboriginal. The I am in me, I am a God manifest in the flesh, but my body, my flesh came from the American soil, so therefore I'm an American Aboriginal. My ancestors came from this land, so therefore my flesh is the soil. So therefore, in that context, I am American Aboriginal. But nobody's going to put me in a box. Okay? I am a man made in the image and likeness of the Most High. Who or what is the Most High? The higher self in me. You feel me? So that's my perspective on that. And with that being said, you take it and dissect it and make it whatever you want to. I just think that we are allowing all these different labels and titles to separate us, and that's being done intentionally by a higher supposed power. And people cannot see past the illusion of what's being done. All that stuff was imposed. It's all colonization. It's all the mindset of a conqueror. Do not put me in anybody's jurisdiction. If I had the choice, I would rather be on the land and just be free of all that. And that's what I'm striving for. That's my goal. So I could leave all these walking dead people alone. All right. That's what I want. And for those that want to be a part of that, man, I'm willing to build with anybody and everybody who have that same mindset. But the time you're constantly trying to tell me who I am and who I'm not, that's going to be a problem. Because once again, you are forcing me to assimilate. Again, you are coming at me from the mindset of a conqueror and a colonizer. Because all those things were given to us by man. By man. The Most High gave me this earth so that I could have dominion over everything. So therefore, no man or anything supposed to have, or no woman supposed to have any dominion over me. It is just a matter of respecting each other. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Live and let live. That is my perspective. However, we live in a society where everything is just so political. So politically, I identify as an American Aborigine, the flesh man. But the I am in me is not an American Aboriginal. I am a God. You feel me? So that's all I'm going to say with that. All right? Because once we start, once again, brothers and sisters, man, do not get caught up with the labels. All right? It is done intentionally. It is done for a reason. And a lot of people that's here giving themselves labels, they are, I'm telling you, they are agents, man. And they get emotional and they get upset when people question those things. I'm always going to question it. I'm always going to be a rebuttal anyone putting me in a box. Period. And that's where I stand. And that's never going to change. All right? That's never going to change. Because like I said, as far as I know, my ancestors have always been on this landmass. And we didn't call ourselves all the names that people want to call us. Yes, granted, we didn't call ourselves Americans. Granted, we didn't call ourselves American Aboriginals. Granted, we didn't call ourselves Indians. Shoot, we didn't even call ourselves Ani and Wea. That is something that, yes, that's new too. All those things are new. So my question is, what did we call ourselves when all these names didn't exist? Which leads to my next question. What does a lion call itself? What does an elephant call itself? What does a monkey call itself? What does a dog call itself? What does a cat call itself? What does a tiger call itself? What does an ant call itself? What does a bird call itself? Do they call themselves anything? No, they just exist. They just live life. And that's what we did, brothers and sisters. That's what I want y'all to see. They were just being, living. From the moment the Great Spirit put them on earth, they have always been that. But man gave them a name and put them in a box, put them in a label, gave them a label. So therefore, man feel he has the authority to govern over what the Most High created. It's the same thing they're doing with us. So for all those of you who want to play the labeling game, don't do it with me. Okay? I know why I identify as an American Aborigine, not my I am. However, the flesh is identified as an American Aboriginal because it was created on American soil, just like my ancestors did. However, my being is beyond the flesh. And I hope that makes sense. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So when I tell people I'm an American Aboriginal and I'm not a Maor or a Hebrew Israelite or none of those things, that's what I'm referring to. Okay? You call yourself what you want and I will call myself what I want. I have a right to self-identify. If y'all want to play these games with these people, go ahead and play these games with these people. I'm not going to play that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about colonizing your mind, colonizing our land. That's what it's all about. And all these different labels came from somebody else. I don't care what you call it. Okay? I don't care who call it move first or more first. Because once again, you would have to prove to me that all the original people from since the time the Most High put them on earth, they called this landmass Mu. And they had to speak one language and they all had to come together to make that decision. Otherwise, it was given to them by somebody and most likely it was a colonizer, a conqueror. Now, if anybody could refute everything I just said, well, man, listen, I definitely want to sit with you and learn because you got some information that I don't have. If you could prove to me that I'm not a man, if you could prove to me all those things that I said, all right, then trust me, man, you're the best. You're the best. I will definitely be one of your students. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't want to be put in nobody's box. All right. I will put myself in the box that I so choose for whatever reason that I so choose. Okay. So I hope that makes sense because like I said in the live, it's just too much back and forth and it's cool sometimes. It's healthy sometimes, but people don't seem to get where I'm going with this. So I wanted to do this little video. All right. Or this voice over, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to do that. So just to put things in perspective so you could open up your mind and see things in a whole different light. So brothers and sisters, once again, once you put yourself in a label, they could put you in their jurisdiction. How do you think I win all my tickets that I get? Anytime I get tickets, I never pay for a ticket. You know why? It's because they have no authority over a man or a woman. They have to prove to me they have authority over me. Only God, the higher self, has authority over me. Now, if they choose to just violate my rights blatantly, oh yeah, they could do that. They got the bigger guns. So I'm trying to let you guys see past the labels. Leave it alone. And be the people. That's it. And until we get that, we are always going to have division, because there's agents among you that is set, that is planted amongst you, amongst us, to create this division so we cannot rise as the people, so we cannot rise as man and woman. And they will continue to keep you down, put you in a box, keep you in their jurisdiction, because they want to enslave you and they want you to be colonized. So they already, trust me, this has been going on for centuries, for eons. And they got their people planted to keep you in a box, to keep you colonized. Mark my words. There's a great war that's coming, because the people are going to wake up and see past the illusion. And those that are that's going to continue to put us in a box, we're going to have to fight. It's going to be a war. It's inevitable, because their minds are still conquered and they don't realize that. They can't see past the illusion. So for all the gods, man, that's ready to step up and see things for what they are, that's what I'm rocking with. That's who I'm rocking with. You feel me? That's it. It's that simple. I don't care what part of the world that you're in. If you're one of the people and you're ready to see past the illusion, let's stand up and fight against tyranny, because that's what it's about. It's colonization, forcing people to assimilate to their ideologies. Okay? If you were to call yourself anything in the flesh, call yourself an earthling, because we all came from the earth. Call yourself soil, call yourself dirt, because that's what your physical body goes back to. Why don't people go around talking about I'm the soil? To me, that's a whole lot better than calling yourself a mer. That's better than calling yourself an American Aboriginal. Yo, I'm the soil. I'm the dirt. Hence, old dirty bastard call himself what? Old dirty bastard. Because he knew he came from the dirt. That's the soil that he came from. The American soil. You feel me? Like I said, man, you know what? I see things from a whole different perspective, because like I'm going to tell you again, I'm a God. So I'm going to always see it the way that the fallen man can't see it. All right? And I'm not throwing shade. I'm just letting you know what it is. It is what it is. You dig? Why don't you call yourself an earthling? Why you have to call yourself everything else that man tell you that you are? And if a dog has a dog, it's a dog. If a cat has a cat, it's a cat. If a horse has a horse, it's a horse. So if God have gods, then you're what? You're a God. Why can't we call ourselves gods? Because you see, they don't want you to do that, because they want to put you in a box so they could have jurisdiction over you. So if you want to liberate your mind, stop putting yourself in a box. That's all I got to say. One love.